So let's talk about charity monitoring worldwide. We are an international association of charity monitoring organizations. And what is that? Because it's so long that it's difficult to understand what is that. Okay, we monitor charities. We are 19 organizations from 19 countries in 4 continents. It's all the purple you can see in this map. So, of course, if you see the countries, Canada, US, Mexico, many countries in Europe, Burkina Faso, India, Japan, Taiwan. I mean, I won't name all of them. We are 19. But you can imagine that we are very different between all of us because our situations are different, our laws are different, but we have many things in common, and that's why I wanted to explain a little bit how we monitor organizations and what are all the things that we have in common. We have one common vision, which is the most important thing, and it is that we advance transparency and accountability in charities. And we do that because we want society to increase collaboration with the third sector. And how? By increasing trust. And how do we increase trust? Because we offer updated, reliable information about charities. We are not just saying, hey, you should trust because they are doing a great job. We explain and we say, we've been analyzing these organizations and they deserve this trust. So try to collaborate as much as possible with them. If we talk about the members, we are all standard-based charity evaluators. We all have our own set of standards. They are different from the countries because, as I said, the situation is different from the countries, but we have many things in common that we'll see later. We analyze how charities function, how they manage their finances, and how they achieve their mission. We make in-depth reviews, and we have reports on each one of these charities that we analyze and that we say they deserve this trust. And we provide donors with crucial information so their contribution make a real impact. This is what donors are looking for. This information is updated, is objective, and it's rigorous. And this is the work that we go through. By doing so, we promote transparency and integrity in the organizations because we all know that when you go through a process of analysis, or let's say an exam, if we put it in our place like in a university or school, you always have to make an effort to go through this exam. So that's why we see a big improvement in organizations when going through all this process. Charity Monitoring Worldwide was founded in 1958. We are based in Netherlands. We are an association, and we are an NPO. We've been there for decades. We've been growing. We've been expanding in the world, in the different continents. And last year, we made important changes. We were in New York. The AGM was there 1 year ago. And we changed our name from ICFO, International Committee of Fundraising Organizations, to CMW Charity Monitoring Worldwide. Why this change? Because we are not fundraisings, we are monitoring organizations. So it was very confusing, the message, and we decided to put a name which represents us much better. When you change the name, you have to change other things. So we changed the logo, the bylaws, the website, and we continue evaluating because we need to be able to help each one of our members to do a better job in each one of the countries. So we continue thinking as how to evolve and help everybody. We, as I said, we are 19 members. We monitor in all 6,700 charities worldwide, which represent an aggregated expense of 99 billion euros. Our objectives of Charity Monitoring Worldwide is supporting the transparency. We support members in promoting transparency. We to monitoring effectively, so to contribute to the expertise of the monitor organizations, how we can improve between us, to formulate common standards. This is important to find these common standards that should be applied internationally. We share our knowledge. We represent the monitoring system cross-border, and we promote the creation of charity monitorings worldwide in the countries where there is no charity monitoring organizations. If possible, we help, and we are there so they can start having this monitoring process. This is charity monitoring worldwide objectives. But as I said, we have principles in charity monitoring worldwide. We have 3 blocks of guiding principles. The first block would be, what is a trustworthy charity? And of course, you can imagine this is very important to decide internationally what is a trustworthy charity, because we can all think about different things, but we had to put in common some standards. The second block would be how to monitor, how to evaluate charities. And the third block would be, what do we publish, what do we reveal to society, what do we give to the society? So let's go to the first block of guidelines for trustworthy organization. Public benefit. Okay, we need, charities need to make sure that their mission constantly serves the public benefit. On the governance science, we need to see that the governance is proactive, robust, independent, and that it works properly. So this is very important. Without a strong governance, it's very difficult that we have a strong charity working. Sooner or later, there could be problems. On the finances side, it is important that they are comprehensive, precise, accurate, and they really represent what's going on the financing side of the organization. And of course, it needs to be transparent. On the efficiency, it is important to calculate and disclose and publish the disclosure between the allocation of funds between the funds that are dedicated for the mission, for the activities related to the mission, but also the ones for the fundraising costs and the administrative expenses. It is important that we know the amount can be bigger or smaller depending on the years and organizations, but it is important to make this reflection and to understand where each organization is and to tell to society. And if some year the amount of fundraising or administrative costs is higher, maybe it doesn't matter, but we need to explain, always with transparency. So this is important on the efficiency side. On the effectiveness side, the organizations need to make an effort to disclose and to be transparent on the results. And when I talk about results, I'm not just talking about the activities that have carried out, but also the change they are able to take and to go with their activities. So it is important that we go a step further on trying to work on the impact that organizations are reaching with their work. That's why we talk about effectiveness. Integrity. I mean, do I need to explain it? If we are not, if there is no integrity in our sector, we should forget it. But I'll explain it. When I talk about integrity, we should think a bit more on the fundraising and the communication side, because it is important to be honest and be respectful. And it is true that sometimes you have to take decisions about how you could take more funds, but maybe this is not as respectful as you should be. So this integrity that seems very easy, sometimes is not that easy. So I'll explain it. And on the transparency side, of course, I mean, without transparency, it is impossible that we look for collaboration in the sector, in the society. It's the first thing we have to do. It doesn't mean that everything goes perfect. We can have problems. We can explain them. We are humans. We are organizations. And I think it's important to be honest and to say, okay, this year we wanted to do this. It wasn't possible. Doesn't matter. We'll do it next year, or it wasn't a good idea and we had to change opinion. But it is important to make this effort. This is what a trustworthy charity is agreed to be on the international side by all these members. Now, how do we make the evaluation? We do it against a set of public standards. Of course, we don't come and say, okay, I'll evaluate, so I'll decide on what, because today it's Tuesday, and that's the best I think about. No, we have standards, they are public, and they, you know what you'll be examined of. It has to be consistent across charities of the same nature. It has to be fair. If it wasn't consistent, it wouldn't be fair. So, of course, it has to be consistent. It has to be done by the evaluation process by trained assessors that operate as representatives of the monitoring organizations. So we have very different models, and we'll speak about it later. But it always has to be done but people represented by organization. It can be staff, it can be volunteers, it can be third parties that represent the monitoring organizations, but always we are there. We need to have detailed records on the documents that we've received from the charities, but also on the analysis process and all the conclusions we had. We have to make sure there is a quality on the evaluation, so we have to put the mechanisms in to make sure that for each organization, we are taking the same parameters and the same quality of the evaluation. We need to give organizations the chance to submit further details in case they don't comply with some or part of the principles. We need to give second chances and to say, no, you didn't see that, or maybe I should explain that better. I mean, we are there to help. So that is also important. Of course, once the organization has the seal or is in the list or whatever the model is in the country, we cannot say, okay, this is done, I won't see you again because you passed the exam. No, we have to reevaluate on regular basis. It can be 2, 3, 4 years, depending on the countries and the organizations, but it has to be done in regular basis. We need to avoid conflict of interest, and when I talk about conflict of interest, it would be because we can charge, and in many countries we charge for the evaluation process, but the fee structure need to make sure that your decision on the evaluation, the result of the evaluation, is going to be independent. So you cannot be too dependent on a few organizations that could make some trouble. And also in the relation that you have with the organization. So that's also important on the independent side. And we also need to make sure that the principles in each country, the guidelines, are updated and the process is updated because there is an evolution. Some of the monitoring organizations have more than 100 years. I can see Germany. So you have to evolve with the situation, and you have to think if there are things that you should change in the time. So that's how the guidelines for evaluating charities. As for the guidelines on the transparency of the results of our analysis, we have to publish the standards so the donors know what we've been analyzing and what we couldn't analyze. We have to publish the assessment process and the fees that we charge to the charities for all the evaluation process. The result of the assessment, this can be very different between countries. It can be a seal, a list, it can be a full report. There are many different ways, but we need to see the results because the idea of this is to give information to donors. So if we don't give the result, we are not doing part of our mission. Charities need to be informed in advance of the result of the evaluation, of course. I mean, it's fair. Before publishing, charities should know what's happening. They should be allowed to offer remarks on the evaluation. This is a bit what we said before. And we don't give rankings because this is not a race. This is just give information about charities. Now I'll go through why we do that. As I said, we do that, all these evaluation processes that take time for us, but also for the charities, because we need the information. We work with information charities give us. So we do that to increase trust. And I thought it was interesting to take the last 2025 Edelman Trust Barometer and to see what's happening. I put it very tight, but here it's very big, so that's great. Here it's very small. Because I think putting all together, it gives a very good idea of this vision. Of course, we can discuss about the countries, and we had a very nice discussion that we can continue in the coffee break about the countries that have more trust levels. But I'd like to more concentrate on businesses and charities. Why charities are not before businesses? Because in principle, you'd think that it should be on the first position, no? And we see that businesses, they are trusted in 15 out of 28 countries. Each bar is one country, and we have all the countries in the same level. And they're distrusted in the 3 out of 28 countries. As for charities, they are trusted in 11 countries and distrusted in 5 countries. About media and governments, maybe it's better not to talk about it. It's not very good. But why businesses are ahead of charities? The answer that Edelman is giving is this one. This is evolution. The light gray is 2020 and the dark gray is 2025. And what we see is that businesses have come up a lot on the ethical side in the last 5 years. It's a very strong step that they've done. Charities, they have increased in ethical, they have increased in competent, but they are not very much perceived as competent, not enough. So it is not bad, we've increased, but why businesses are perceived as more competent than charities? We can discuss about it for many reasons, and we can discuss this is what's happening or not. But for me, the conclusion I should have from this one is that charities need to demonstrate the results and the change they are doing to the society. So we need to work on the analysis of impact, and we need to work on that because of 2 reasons. First, because we'll take better decisions when we know the impact that we are making in the society. And also because we need to communicate it, because we need to demonstrate that, yes, we are competent. We need to go to the right. It is important. So let's try to demonstrate that. And again, the demonstration needs to be done with numbers, with figures, with results. And that's why I thought it was interesting to show this graph. I have to say that more and more monitoring organizations are asking charities to work on the impact. Of course, this is a long path. It's not easy. It's not cheap. It's complex. But the idea is to continue improving and to go through that. So we are trying to tell people to go through this process as much as possible. And just to finish before we go to the roundtable, why do we do what we do? Because we want to advance transparency and accountability in the third sector, and because we want to see this increase in trust that we believe is important. What for? Because we want to increase the collaboration in the third sector. We want to see more donations, more help, more volunteers coming to the third sector from the society. And how? By evaluating charities against a set of standards, by publishing the results, and by offering society objective, updated, and rigorous information. So our responsibilities would be for charities to try to comply with the standards, because they make them stronger and they help demonstrate that they are worth to receive donations. For monitoring organizations, I think our responsibility is to make sure that we have a very high quality of evaluation, that we need to be able to demonstrate that charities are worth, and we need to be more relevant, because what we see, and this is a problem we have in most of our countries, is that the information is not very much used, and that's a pity because it takes a lot of time, a lot of work for everybody. And if people only knew all the work that was behind all these analyses, I mean, they would use this information. It is free, it's public, so let's use it. And for society, we need to explain society as much as possible that giving is great, but informed giving is much better. Because it's giving wisely, and you can have a much better impact. So that's the message for the general society. The information is there, just take it. And having said that, I think the best idea to understand our work is to talk about our different models. So we'll have a round table, please. Yes. With Netherlands, US, Burkina Faso, and France. So you'll see the different models in the different countries. Thank you.